why human snakes target you specifically, and how to fight back. What if the most dangerous people never look dangerous? Have you ever wondered why some people can destroy entire lives without anyone suspecting until it's too late? They walk among us like serpents in human suits, smiling while calculating the exact moment to strike. And here's the terrifying part: most victims never see it coming. In 1979, Jeffrey Dahmer was described by neighbors as quiet and polite, the kind of young man you'd want your daughter to date. Meanwhile, he was already planning his first kill. The mask of normalcy is the deadliest weapon of social predators. They don't look dangerous because they've invested years building an impeccable facade. Power Law 1 teaches us, never outshine the master. But human snakes flip this. They make you feel like the master while pulling every string of your reality. You believe you're in control while dancing to their tune. The first sign lies in their eyes, not in what they show, but what they hide. When someone smiles, watch if their eyes follow. Social predators have mastered the art of the social smile, but eyes rarely lie. They remain cold, calculating, analyzing your reaction like a scientist observing a lab rat. Here's your first powerful practical action. For 1 week, observe micro expressions of people around you. Focus especially on those who seem too perfect. Note discrepancies between words and body language. True social predators are masters at controlling words, but micro expressions escape for milliseconds. The second indicator is strategic use of vulnerability. Human snakes reveal calculated weaknesses to lower your guard. I never trust anyone because of my traumatic past. While saying this, they're mapping your emotional reactions, discovering exactly which buttons to push. Artificial urgency is another pattern. They create situations where you need to decide quickly, without time to think. This opportunity only exists today. I need to know if I can trust you now. Time pressure is manipulators' favorite tool because it eliminates your critical analysis capacity. The most sinister part: they study your social connections like a military strategist studies enemy territory. They ask seemingly innocent questions about your friends, family, co-workers, not from genuine interest, but to map pressure points and future targets. There's a fascinating conspiracy theory about how certain power groups identify and recruit individuals with predatory tendencies for positions of influence. It's no coincidence that so many scandals involve people in positions of trust. The system sometimes rewards exactly those we should fear most. The pattern of manufactured chemistry is crucial. They mirror your interests, values, and communication style so perfectly, it feels like meeting your soulmate. But this isn't compatibility, it's psychological mimicry designed to bypass your natural defenses. If you've identified at least 2 of these patterns in someone close to you, comment "snake" down below. And if this content is opening your eyes to realities you'd rather not see, hit that like button so we can continue exposing these predators together. Don't forget to subscribe. Knowledge is power, and power is survival. How they turn your kindness into your weakness. Here's a truth that's going to hurt. Your empathy is their primary weapon against you. The more compassionate you are, the more vulnerable you become to human snake attacks. They don't see your kindness as virtue, they see it as weakness to be exploited. Larry Nassar spent decades as a respected sports medicine doctor before being exposed as one of America's most prolific sexual predators. Over 500 victims. His weapon? The automatic trust we place in authority figures. He used his status, respectable appearance, and our natural tendency to trust those who should care for us. Power Law 14 reveals: pose as a friend, work as a spy. Human snakes have mastered this art. They approach offering help, emotional support, solutions to your problems. But every gesture of kindness has a price you'll pay later, always with compound interest. The unbalanced reciprocity test is crucial. Social predators create artificial emotional debts. They do small, unsolicited favors, then demand disproportionately larger favors in return. "After everything I've done for you" becomes the phrase that keeps you prisoner in toxic relationships. Your second powerful practical action: implement the rule of 3 no's. When someone asks for something, even if it seems reasonable, say no 3 times before considering it. Watch how they react. Genuine people respect boundaries. Predators increase pressure, make you feel guilty, or question your loyalty. Watch for the unsolicited savior pattern. They appear exactly when you're vulnerable, offering solutions you didn't ask for to problems that might not even exist. It's the modern version of the witch offering the poison apple. It looks like salvation, but it's disguised slavery. Gradual isolation is perhaps the most dangerous tactic. They begin by subtly undermining your other relationships. Your friends don't deserve you. Your family doesn't understand you like I do. They do this so carefully that you believe you're making your own decisions when you're actually being systematically cut off from your support network. Triangulation is another sinister tool. They always mention other people who supposedly admire them, agree with them, or do what you should be doing. Sarah never questions me like this. Mike always supports me. They create imaginary competitions where you feel obligated to prove your worth. Also observe the privileged information pattern. They share secrets or information that makes you feel special, chosen. In reality, they're testing your discretion and creating complicity. Once you keep their secrets, you become an accomplice to their manipulations. The emotional vampire technique is devastating. They drain your energy through constant crises, drama, and needs. You become their unpaid therapist, crisis manager, and emotional support system. Meanwhile, they offer nothing genuine in return, just the promise that things will get better if you just try harder. Notice how they rewrite history in real time. Conversations that happened yesterday are remembered completely differently today. Promises made last week never existed. Your memory becomes unreliable in their presence because they're constantly gaslighting your perception of reality. If you've ever felt guilty for setting boundaries with someone, comment boundary down below. Your guilty conscience might be the warning you need. Like this video if you're recognizing patterns in your own life, and subscribe to keep exposing these dark tactics together. What if you discover you're the target of a psychological operation? The most terrifying reality isn't discovering that someone is manipulating you, it's realizing you were specifically chosen, studied like a long-term project. Human snakes don't attack randomly. They select targets with the precision of a sniper choosing strategic positions. Bernie Madoff didn't just run a Ponzi scheme, he psychologically profiled each victim for decades. He studied their desires, insecurities, and blind spots before applying personalized cons tailored to each personality type. The $65 billion wasn't stolen randomly. It was surgically extracted from people who were mapped like territory. Power Law 19 warns, know who you're dealing with, do not offend the wrong person. But human snakes reverse this. They know exactly who they're dealing with because they've studied you more than you know yourself. They understand your emotional triggers better than you know your own reflexes. The first sign you're a specific target, too many coincidences. They casually appear in the same places you do, have interests similar to yours, know people from your circle. This isn't destiny, it's social reconnaissance. They're mapping your routine, preferences, and vulnerabilities. Your third powerful practical action, create a coincidence diary for 1 month. Note every time someone appears, by chance, in your life. If the same person shows up in different contexts more than 3 times without logical explanation, you might be socially stalked. Asymmetric information is another crucial indicator. They know details about you that you never shared directly. They mention your hobbies, places you frequent, personal problems you're certain you never told them. When questioned, they always have plausible explanations. So-and-so mentioned it, saw it on social media, but the frequency of these casualties reveals systematic espionage. There's a dark theory about how certain social media algorithms can be used to identify vulnerable people for trained manipulators. Your online behavior patterns, posts you like, time spent connected, everything can be analyzed to create detailed psychological profiles. It's not paranoia, it's technology. Subtle gaslighting is perhaps the most devastating weapon. They make you question your own memory, perception, and mental sanity. You didn't say that. You're being dramatic. You always exaggerate. They do this so gradually that you start doubting yourself before doubting them. Observe the escalating commitment pattern. They start by asking for small favors, then progressively increase them. Each yes you give becomes evidence that you should give the next one. It's like boiling a frog alive. The temperature increases so gradually that it doesn't notice until it's cooking. Creating emotional dependency is the ultimate goal. They become your primary source of validation, support, and guidance. You stop making decisions without consulting them. Your self-esteem depends on their approval. At this point, you're no longer a person, you're a resource being exploited. The weaponization of your own values is sophisticated psychological warfare. If you value loyalty, they'll question your loyalty. If you pride yourself on being understanding, they'll exploit your need to give people the benefit of the doubt. Your virtues become the chains that bind you. Watch for the scarcity manipulation. They make their attention, approval, or presence seem rare and valuable. I don't usually open up like this. You're the only one who understands me. They create artificial scarcity around their affection to increase its perceived value in your mind. If you started questioning your own mental sanity after interacting with someone, comment "awake" down below. And if you're realizing you might be a specific target, hit that like button. Recognizing the problem is the first step to breaking free. Subscribe because knowledge is your only defense against these psychological operations. Why most people choose to deny the reality of human snakes. The darkest truth about social predators isn't that they exist, it's that society often protects them. People around you will defend your manipulators, question your perceptions, and even attack you for overreacting. And there's a sinister psychological reason for this. Harvey Weinstein operated for decades with Hollywood's knowledge and complicity. Even when evidence accumulated, many continued defending him. Why? Because admitting they were fooled for so long would mean confronting their own vulnerability. It's easier to attack those who expose the truth. Power Law 38 teaches, think as you like, but behave like others. Human snakes exploit our need for social conformity. They build reputations so solid that questioning their motives becomes an act of social rebellion. You become the troublemaker for seeing beyond the mask. The social sunk cost phenomenon explains why people defend manipulators. The more time, energy, and emotional resources we invest in someone, the harder it becomes to admit we were wrong. Our minds prefer to continue being deceived rather than face the humiliation of having been foolish. Your fourth powerful practical action: implement the third observer test. Record or write down problematic conversations without violating privacy laws. Later, read them as if they were about strangers. Remove names and emotional context. You'll be shocked by manipulation patterns you couldn't see when emotionally involved. The institutional silence conspiracy is real. Organizations, families, and social groups frequently protect predators to avoid scandals. We'll handle this internally. We don't want to damage the company or family reputation. This complicit silence allows human snakes to continue hunting indefinitely. Notice how they use the halo effect to extremes. A person with impressive credentials, authority, position, or natural charisma receives the benefit of doubt even when questionable behaviors accumulate. Doctors, teachers, religious leaders, executives' social position becomes a shield against suspicion. Social triangulation is devastating. They don't just manipulate you, they turn other people into manipulation tools. Your own friends and family begin repeating narratives that favor the predator. It's like a mental virus spreading through your social network. There's a disturbing theory about how power systems identify and promote individuals with functional psychopathic traits. They're not crazy, they're calculators who thrive in competitive environments. Many characteristics we admire in leaders are actually signs of predatory personalities adapted to the corporate and political world. The cost of exposing a human snake is always high. You might lose friends, job opportunities, even family relationships. They're masters at making you pay socially for challenging them. But the cost of not exposing them is your own soul and mental sanity. The final irony: human snakes frequently accuse their victims of being manipulative. It's perfect projection. They make you feel guilty for recognizing exactly what they're doing. They completely flip the narrative until you question whether you're not the problem. The collective denial serves a deeper psychological function. If we admit that human snakes exist and are successful, we must confront the uncomfortable truth that our society often rewards the worst human behaviors. It's easier to gaslight the victims than reform the system. Remember, your intuition evolved over millions of years to detect danger. Trust it over social pressure. The person everyone loves might be the one you should fear most. Your sanity isn't up for negotiation. If you've ever been called crazy or paranoid for questioning someone everyone admires, comment truth down below. Your sanity is non-negotiable. Like this video if it gave you courage to trust your instincts. Subscribe and share this content. It might save someone from becoming the next victim of a human snake.